The script or storyboard is for production prep, modeling, materials, lighting, 12 hours each. Camera, 3 to 6 hours, motion complex. Rendering, 3 hours. Sound recording, audio work, engineers, video editing, gravitational edit, leads to final product for platforms like YouTube, Beyond TV. I'll render the films, move the camera, and set up the lighting. Modeling, materials, and lighting each take 12 hours. Camera work takes 3 to 6 hours. Motion is different. It's significant yet simple. Rendering takes 3 hours. Sound recording is separate. Next is audio work, sound engineers, and finally, gravitational video editing. This leads to the final edit for distribution on media, on YouTube, or other platforms. Series and films are now on platforms, not just TV or cinemas. We're working on audio and sound engineers, and in the end, we have video editing, which we refer to as the gravitational edit. So all of this leads us into the finishing phase to produce a final edit that I can distribute or publish on various media. It could be on YouTube or other platforms. Nowadays, series are being shown on platforms instead of just on traditional television, and films are being showcased on platforms instead of in cinemas. So keep in mind that all of this involves very important production steps. Movies are now being shown on platforms, not in cinemas. So keep in mind that all of this involves very important production steps. This model is usually prepared by me, so it does not have any intellectual property rights. I just transferred it. Most of this talk is taken from my personal book. Okay. The personal book that I have made several versions of it in animation. I care about it. I mean, May book by God, I don't know where it is. I don't know when the latest copy of the book was, but what I know is that I made the 2013 copy in the summer of 2014. In 2015, approximately, there was a new copy, meaning it went to press or not. So I have it here, LOL. In my work, the last version of the 3D Max book that went to print looks like it was in 2019, and I haven't updated it in a while. So my 3D Max book from 2015, I divided it into parts because it was a really big reference. People found it overwhelming, so I split it into sections. This part is practical, and this part is theoretical, okay? This is about educational 3D animation, and there are many editions of it. Of course, I'll provide you with some resources around this topic so you can have a copy. People found it overwhelming, so I divided it into parts, practical and theoretical. This is about educational 3D animation with many editions. I'll provide resources so you can have a copy. I hope to show you the 81 3D Max All-in-One 6th edition. Its size is 81 megabytes, almost 100, with many pages because it's complete. It contains information about principles and movement, around 473 pages. Don't divide it up. Nobody reads all of this. This is so that no one explains how to create fire, explosions, smoke, dust, the sea surface, or the sun view. Big version, but I don't know. I hope you like your colors. 81 3D Max All-in-One. The 6th version, but this is a rose. God knows how many hours it will open. DD. Its size is 81 MB. This is about 100 MB. And the number of pages in it is large because this is a complete version. Also, there is a lot of talk in it, including principles and movement, about 473 pages long. Of course, do not swear. No one reads all of this. No one reads all of this. This is because no one can explain until this talk how to make fire, how to make explosions, smoke, dust, the surface of the sea, sun view. The rain, the snow, and all of that is a different story. The natural phenomena, the lighting, all of that is a big deal. Characters are a different story. It even includes historical references. This is regarding the theoretical part of the presentation. Of course, this training has many directions, including Al-Qasim University. So let's open the second presentation. The second presentation is supposed to explain what I covered in the first part. I'll talk about all these coordinates. So allow me to switch to the program screen. This is regarding the first part of the theoretical presentation that we're writing down. Of course, this training has many directions, including Al-Qasim University, which has offered several times. So let's open the second presentation to save time and see how things are going. The second presentation is supposed to explain what I covered in the first part, or has a theoretical section here, but I don't want to take too much time on theory. I don't want to take too much time on theory, and I'll just briefly talk about all these coordinates. But let's go back and see what our program actually looks like first. So, allow me to switch to the program screen now and see how things are going. The program is actually ready. I left it to run on its own, honestly. I said, I'm not coming. The screen is clear and there's no problem. The program is done. Let's do a quick check on Blackboard and I'll ask you in the chat if you can see anything. Everything's absolutely good. The sound is clear. The picture is excellent and clear as well. Moreover, the conversation is flowing smoothly and naturally indeed, Dr. Dalal. Thank you very much. You mentioned something really nice, starting with a letter like maybe an N or something similar. I'm not entirely sure, but it's all perfectly clear now. Everything seems all good. Let's start the program. I left it to myself and reached this point since the hour I was explaining. So I say start the program, allow me some theory and practice. You, Dr. Dalal, just use the 30-day trial version, just 30 days. Since I created the user, I made a user, and since I'm in education with my university email, they gave me a year. You, Dr. Dalal, Dr. Ali, you're working on the Arabic keyboard. Dr. Ali, you're typing English letters, so I don't understand anything, but I'm sure it's nice stuff. I know you well, Dr. Mahala. So of course we start downloading there, and he tells me that 3D Max has some updates in it, and it's all good. But you, Dr. Dalal, Dr. Ali, using the Arabic keyboard, and Dr. Ali, typing English letters, so I don't understand, but it's nice. We always work together. I know you, Dr. Mahala. We start downloading, and says 3D Max has updates, all good. He starts running 3D Max, the new 2023 version. I have copies from wherever 3D Max was. I ran it on XB over 22 years ago. Huh. It starts loading 3D Max, the 2023 version. I worked and studied Max a long time ago, since I was a teaching assistant. I worked on Max, and the setup is heavy, slow on my machine. You need a powerful device for it to work well. My setup looks good. Abdul Rahman is supposed to be here. I have a user working here, and it's supposed to be starting the trial version. Dr. Ali, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, send them the work details. I worked and studied Max a long time ago since I was a teaching assistant. I worked on Max and the setup is heavy and slow on my machine. You need a powerful device for it to work well. For me, my setup is fine. Abdul Rahman is supposed to be here. I have a user working here and it's still slow. Dr. Ali, we say, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, let's create an account and send them the work details in English and they'll send you an activation for a year. I did that. I have my account here. Check the licenses. Everything's good. The user is working, but it's a bit slow. It's supposed to be starting the trial version together, Doctor. Ali, we're still together. So we say, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, create an account and send them the work details in English. And they'll send you an activation for a year. I did that, honestly. Come here. Please look at my account and you'll find this detailed information. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I just want to get you Abdul Rahman's account. And here are my managed licenses. Please check the licenses. Carefully, Dr. Dalal. Everything's good right now. Al-Mu'taz, there has to be a code. I'm going to get you a code. I'll show you how to activate it, Dr. Dalal. I'm talking about your rights as a university professor for a year. Back in February last year, I was doing it. So my version ends on February 15th. And this is my ID. And everything's going smoothly. What's the problem, Abu Asul, with knowing or being okay? And I told him to remove the licenses. So I'm here as a student version user. I told him I'm on the student version. All right. In it, Dr. Abdullah, I introduced you back in February. I told him that from my account, I'm a student license.